Hi everyone and welcome to my new video. This one is about Universal Brotherhood and integration of the opposing polarities within us. So we recently, yesterday, had a full moon in Sagittarius, and it was a lot about stepping into our authenticity and walking our truth. So as this is happening, a lot of things are surfacing, um, and they're coming to the surface. And what's happening is that they're mirroring to us all of those ways in which we still had some attachments when it comes to our inner truth. And so, this is also happening through our interpersonal relationships as well. But what Spirit showed me is that we still have a lot of these ways in which we still tend to blame others. Instead of seeing that whatever's playing out it represents something within us too that we need to embrace. When you see something in another and it triggers something within you, then it's always about us as well. So we always need to embrace that. And The thing is, when it comes to Universal Brotherhood, then we know that we represent um, a certain organization, or we come from a certain consciousness, but it doesn't mean anything until we don't embody this ourselves, this unity consciousness within ourselves. And then once we do that, then it plays out in our interpersonal relationships as well, and they're also enlightened in this way. So I'm going to be speaking about this yin yang balance that's really important, and how um, we need to embrace that opposing polarity that maybe is not so balanced within us yet. And you may already hold a certain level of balance in your embodiment, but still there might be some areas in your life where this was playing out, where things are not in balance. So that's just calling for deeper integration. So the first, I have some notes here that I'm going to be looking at. So because there was a lot coming up, and when it comes to our inner authenticity, then I want to speak about both sides, the feminine and the masculine, when we are maybe too bent on one side and not balanced in the other. So I'm going to start with the feminine, and when this is unbalanced. So for the feminine, the unbalanced feminine, it can tend to get a little clingy. Whoops. Yeah, it can tend to get clingy. It might look for approval from others. So what needs to be embraced, however, is this greater independence. So within my own life, Spirit showed me this recently, that I needed to embrace more independence in my expression of my truth, and release all those ways in which I was maybe still clinging on to truth coming through others. And so you might be experiencing this in your own personal life as well. And the unbalanced feminine, how else it can also manifest, is when we look for harmony above all else. So it's afraid of conflict, it's afraid of disagreements, or even confrontation. And um, and so you might have an energy of where it's very easy for you to blend in with others, and you have this great sense of community, communing with others, and sharing and caring. But maybe what's not so integrated is that sense of personal boundaries as well. And in relationships with others, maybe if somebody came from a different kind of energy, and you find yourself pointing a finger, blaming them in some way, that maybe they were too direct with you, too blunt, or too decisive for you, then it's always about you, and embracing those qualities within you that maybe you didn't yet. So if you feel like you had support from someone, and suddenly they just made a decision and it went away in some way, then it's calling for that support coming from within. And we all have this feeling where we feel alone sometimes, and we feel that this is what I used to know, and this is what I've known all along, and now suddenly it's gone. But we can't be afraid of moving into that new territory, because all lies within. So if you've been attached in any way, then this is just showing you how everything comes through your own I am. So with regards to the Sagittarius full moon, this can be attachment to truth through others, and maybe you felt that you still needed confirmations, or you relied on others for something else, like organization structures, whatever it might be. And so it's about knowing that it all lies within, and and when you have situations in your life that mirror it to you, then it's about embracing it. So moving on to the next one, which is the unbalanced masculine. And the thing is that when the masculine, if you're dominant in that yang kind of energy, and maybe you rely too much on that, then it can manifest itself as being mistrustful, being cynical, inflexible, and maybe not holding space for the growth of others. So not holding space for others to make mistakes and expand, being stubborn. So so if you hold this kind of energy dominant, maybe you were always the one who was supporting others, and you're very supportive, you're very generous, um, but the thing is that when you saw somebody else in your life who was not reflecting that same level of independence, and you saw like an exaggerated version of that in them, then it led you to point fingers at them as well, and kind of separate yourself um, from them. So the masculine, when it's not balanced, it can tend to separate like that, and the feminine tends to get maybe clingy. So we all need to identify ourselves within these roles that we play, because it's not about identifying with these roles, but just recognizing that we were playing these roles, and once we do that, and we embrace that about us, then it comes into unity. So this is very important now, um, because how spirit shows me is that earth is like this melting pot, and I always get this card that says melting pot. It's one of the oracle decks, and there's we came in with these different energies, and now it's about integrating both the polarities within us, so that this sense of community can only come after that. Because if you look at it, we're very young when it comes to this, when it comes to relating to another, and the sense of light communities. So these communities of light, they're forming online mostly right now, and so these interpersonal relationships that we have, and even the challenges that they're bringing very important clues for us. So don't just dismiss that, don't just blame others, and don't just come together in union with others from a space of like victimhood, you know, but come together in that space of wholeness, where you embrace all as it is. So even if somebody points something at you, and maybe they even have this attacking energy, recently somebody posted a comment on one of my videos, saying that I'm copying somebody else, and I didn't fully agree with everything they were saying, but spirit was still showing me of that, more of that independence that I need to embrace. So so I followed my guidance, and I already unfollowed um, the videos and everything of that channel the same day, and yeah, so it's all about embracing. But then the thing is that when you see in somebody else, and it triggers something within you, and you come to their forum, and you feel the need to attack them in some way, then recognize that this is also reflecting something within you. So I can never tell anybody what to do, but for me, I just embrace everything. So it's not as if if somebody brings up a challenge, or they try and even attack me, or maybe they just have some constructive criticism, I take it all as coming from my higher self. So everything will not mirror exactly. Maybe somebody is saying something, and a lot of that might be their own projections as well. But there will be something that's being mirrored to you if you're triggered. So it's just about embracing that. So in the end, what I want to say is that we might have these ideas of authenticity and how we walk an authentic path and others don't. But let's have more compassion, because um, the way that we walk our path may not be the same way as somebody else has that unfolding process. So we need to have compassion for ourselves and for everyone else, because this is all very new. We're all integrating this new energy together, and we're doing this work of alchemy within ourselves, and then in our relationships as well. So let's have compassion for ourselves and everybody else. And the way of the new is walking within our truth, our authenticity, and always being within flow. So let go of any roles that you may have been playing, and just embrace this new freedom. And it's always here for us. So that's it from me. And if you enjoy my videos, then you can subscribe to this channel on YouTube. And also, I've been guided to do these new readings, which I'll be announcing soon, and they'll be beloved readings, beloved attunements. So so I'll see you next time in my next video.